everyone, it's Liz here, and I'm coming to you from a different place this time, from my bedroom rather than the living room. You might notice a change in me since my last video. All here is all swollen, and I am getting all horrible spots. They're more like scars. This one's been here, as you would have noticed, for a while. It's a Sjogren's thing. My salivary glands are all inflamed and I hate it. It's just not a good look. Although, talking of looks, these glasses are not new. They look darker, they're actually purple. And they are transitions lenses, which is so much easier. Like, you can choose the colouring, because these are purple glasses. They go dark purple. They're great. I don't have to keep swapping between my sunglasses and my normal glasses, because I wear them all the time. So anyway, so as you may have, if you've been following my journey, if not, go back and look at some of my videos, but my Sjogrens has been a thing since last October. I've obviously been through quite a lot. Basically, people saying, no, you haven't got it, you haven't got it, you haven't got it, all the time, until I saw both my dentist and the eye clinic at the hospital, who both told me they think I had Sjogren's. I haven't shown this before, but this is, I'm trying to, so you don't see my dress here, but basically this is the letter that confirms my Sjogren's. I can read it to you. It says, further to our previous correspondence, I write to inform you that the labial gland biopsy that was carried out has confirmed the presence of focal lymphocytic sialendentitis something in keeping with Sjogren syndrome. Correlation with serological findings is advised. I would be grateful if you facilitate an onward referral to the rheumatology team for management of her systemic Sjogren's syndrome. This letter was done by the maxillofacial team at my hospital, and that's been ignored. I had an appointment on the 18th of July, so last 2 weeks ago nearly. I've been waiting since the end of April. I was called, as soon as I got this letter that I've just read to you, I was called by the rheumatologist who I saw. I was like, yes, we must get in to see me as soon as possible, blah, blah, blah. And I was thinking, okay, and obviously, as you may have found through my videos, it took forever to get an appointment. I had to badger them for an appointment. So anyway, I don't put much hope for the appointment, because the doctor I knew I was seeing, I saw as an inpatient, he was really dismissive of Sjogren's, didn't seem to know much about it. Even though he's a rheumatologist, he just couldn't really care less. He doesn't even know much about EDS, even though he professes that he does. So, yeah. So we went into the appointment and it was a mixed bag. The first thing that I will point out that was good is when he was saying, because the last time I was in hospital I saw him, my bowels were pretty bad. How are your bowels? I told him how bad my bowels have been. If you haven't found or don't know how much bad my bowels have been, click up here in one of the links to the videos. I have been having over a year now of diarrhea. Just random. It doesn't seem to have any relation to the food I eat. It doesn't have any relation to anything. And all the scopes and biopsies have shown colitis, but my gastro doctor has said that it hasn't. And he was basically saying that even though I have symptoms, there's nothing wrong. Well, my rheumatologist looked at my scope results and said all my symptoms and said, well, of course you've got colitis. So I'm having a sigmoidoscopy again in a week. And maybe that will show something. I don't know. But it seems I've got colitis. And I at first thought, well, I haven't even looked it up because I didn't really believe it was true myself. Since I've looked it up, it's crazy. It explains so many of my weird symptoms that weren't attributed to my gastroparesis or my EDS or my Sjogren's. Things like swollen joints and painful joints and swelling of the face and weight gain and things like that. Things that I didn't really understand. But other than that, the appointment was a complete bust. It was awful. I actually wrote straight away to my Sjogren support group on Facebook. And I'll read you what I put because it was so long ago. I think I would just waffle on. So this is a summary of what he said to me. He asked if my bowels are bad, and the good part was he acknowledged my scopes, which I've already mentioned. Blah, blah, blah. He said the lip biopsy cells are the same as the stomach lining ones. So this and inside your stomach are the same, basically. So because this has shown something, he thinks that with my bowel issues, colitis. He is known in my region as not knowing much in regards to patients like me with EDS. He said there is no link with EDS and autoimmune issues, which I know isn't true. And this most certainly isn't. The British Sjogren Syndrome Association booklet says very clearly. And also, the information I was given on Sjogren's, it's multi-systemic. It affects everything. So, he also said, despite the lip biopsy being positive, that my blood's being normal. Basically, the anti-Rho and the anti-Rho, whatever they are, the antibodies for Sjogren's is negative, and it has been many times. He said because they were normal, it didn't point to Sjogren's, and stomach issues can cause dry eyes and dry mouth. I mentioned my awful flares, and his response were, if you've lived all your life in pain, then this is nothing new, and there's no magical cure. He did say he might try me on hydroxychloroquine, but only once I've had my sigmoidoscopy. I'm furious. And then that was it, really. So basically, I can understand where he gets the whole your lip and your stomach cells are the same, blah, blah, blah. But it doesn't explain why I have these horrible flares where I can't wake up. My head is hurting so much. I get loads of mouth ulcers. I've got oral thrush many times this year. I've got swollen salivary glands and pain in my face, weird pains in my bones that aren't EDS pains, because I know what EDS pains are for me. That would not be down to colitis. So I don't trust him at all. So basically, I had an appointment last week, but it was luckily cancelled due to the heat. But I'm going down to Swindon in Wiltshire to see Dr. Price, who's like the UK's expert on Sjogren's. She's also president of the British Sjogren's Syndrome Association, I think. And I know quite a lot of people on my support group who have had negative bloods but positive lip biopsies. And I think I've seen that from the videos I've seen her do, she does mention the fact that it's most certainly possible to have Sjogren's with having negative bloods and positive lip biopsy. If my lip biopsy was negative, I'd kind of be like, okay. I'm going to read you a copy of the letter because I've got all this ready to go for next week. Pages and pages and pages of things relating to the Sjogren's since last year. This is the letter. So bearing in mind what I just read to you about my experience of going to the clinic a few weeks ago, this is what he's actually written about the appointment and me. I reviewed this lady again and note the intriguing small bowel MRI along with the lip biopsy results. She does not have a primary Sjogren's syndrome, but sicker symptoms secondary to an inflammatory colitis need to be ruled out, and I note Dr. Woodward is planning further investigations. Now, there's primary and secondary Sjogren's, just like there is with primary and secondary POTS. And primary is usually if you have no other health factors or any other factors relating to that. But with my POTS, that's caused by EDS. My Sjogren's is caused by EDS. It's very clear in the diagram. It says if you have a connective tissue disorder, you're more likely, whatever type of disorder it is, you're more likely to have Sjogren's. So he's basically saying I don't have Sjogren's. I have the sicker symptoms, which is nothing like that. He says, I have not found any evidence for autoimmunity from the blood tests thus far, and note that she is ANA, RF, CCP antibody negative, although I have not seen the result for an ANA, HEP2. We've discussed the further management of her dry eyes, dry mouth, and I've appended some advice and supplied her with Hyalocare. I've given her a supply today and would be grateful for your repeat prescriptions to find this a benefit. Now, this is another issue. I took this prescription to the hospital pharmacy. I waited an hour for them to tell me that they don't stock that. I then called my GP and said, can you prescribe this? And then I got my Hyalofort, which is what I take now, back, which is this red one. And the Hylicare is a green one, apparently. It's slightly stronger. My GP surgery, I called them because I got the Hylifort again. I said, where's the Hylicare? They said that Boots, my pharmacist, don't stock it. And also the GP does not prescribe it. The strongest they can do is Hylifort. So my rheumatologist was, surely, if he sees a lot of Sjogren's patients, which he claims he does, should know that you cannot get Hylicare on prescription. You may be able to source it and buy it yourself, but you certainly can't get a doctor to prescribe it, or even a hospital. I also talked to him because he's doing some research into POTS and the basically lack of effect of local anaesthetic and the adrenaline issues we get with POTS. I asked him if he was still doing that because I know people who want to put themselves forward. Definitely not me because of the experience I have with my lip biopsy. He's put here that I have kindly volunteered to participate in research studies in which he might be eligible and is an active participant of the Cambridge branch of the British Sjogren Syndrome Association. Now, that is partly true about the Sjogren Syndrome Association, but it's not true. I've not put myself forward for any research that he's doing because he is a complete idiot. I'm sorry, but he is. And I have many people in my, not only my Sjogren's group, also my EDS groups, have basically found that he is not knowledgeable. His name I would usually not mention, but I think it's important people know. He's called Dr. Shankar, and he works at Addenbrooke's, and he's supposed to be a rheumatologist, and he does not know the new criteria that came out 2 years ago for diagnosing EDS. And I have had many people come up to me on my support group and by email saying that they were told by him that they were borderline EDS, but he couldn't diagnose it because they don't fit the criteria. But he's working on the old criteria, so it makes me so mad. Luckily, Dr. Price in Swindon is not too expensive when it comes to private consultation fees, as that's where I'm having to go down that route again. It seems that every single illness that I have, I've had to go down that route. I did it initially for EDS and POTS. I've had to do it for my gastro issues last year. And now, again, I'm having to, I'm having to do it again for Sjogren's, and it's crazy. So I really don't know what to do. I just get so fed up with all this idiot doctors and messing around and wasting time. I could have gone to see Dr. Price months ago, but at least now I've got my blood test results with me, and they were from May, so they're quite recent. I have actually looked at them, and there's a few things that are out of range that are high, but my doctor again said they're fine. So apparently there's nothing wrong with me, even though I clearly have something wrong with me. Anyway, that's it for me for now, but I should do another video soon. And anyone else who's got Sjogren's watching this, drop me a comment or a message. I'd love to hear from you and know your experiences. And please don't forget to subscribe. I would love it to get more followers on here. The bell notification will let you know when I post a new video. I'm trying to commit to doing one a week, sometimes more, depending. Last week was a bit hard because of the weather, and it was so hot I was actually horizontal for like 4 days. But yeah, so I'll see you in the next video. Bye.